Okay, fact. I am very bad at talking into a camera. I get all like, I forget how to talk. It's a little bit annoying. So we're gonna walk and talk, and I'm just gonna pretend like I'm talking to my mom. Because really, that's who I'm making this video channel for. Okay, so I live at a place that is in the category most formally known as intentional community. There are roughly 50 people who live out on 87 acres, and we all pay rent, but then there's like a lot of community decision making. There's like, you can do chores or like cleaning roles for the community spaces and get a little bit of credit off your rent, that sort of stuff. So I moved out here 2 years ago because I was really curious. I'd been curious about intentional community for quite some time, and my husband and I were both interested in living more out in the country. He was really interested in growing a lot of food. I just didn't want to be isolated because I kind of, sorry, wobbly camera. I didn't want to be isolated because I like to be around people quite a bit. So living in an intentional community seemed, I had a rock in my shoe, seemed like the best of both worlds, where we could be out in the country, he could grow food, and we could, and then I wouldn't feel so isolated. And he left a year ago because he hated it. And I didn't hate it. There's flaws, there's challenges, but I wasn't like completely over it. So, why am I bike touring during a global pandemic? Because I'm really tired of living here. It's partly because this bike tour is something that I've always wanted to do, and it's partly because like I can't sit still where I'm at any longer and stay sane. Yeah. So why intentional community? Why would someone who is really not a hippie at all, why would I be interested in living in an intentional community, which is quite accurately known as hippie commune? And I really wouldn't say that there's a lot of stereotypical hippies here. I would say that there's a lot of new age spiritual type of people. There's a lot of stereotypical, I don't know, what the heck is a hippie anyway? So I was really intrigued by this idea of intentional community because of just the idea of like sharing more resources, just having people sort of around closer, a bit more like living in a tribe or an extended family or something. To me, that just feels like more of the natural state that our human minds evolved in. And that's very true, that it does feel a bit more just like wholesome or holistic to live in a small group of people that you know really well, rather than to live amongst hundreds of thousands of people that are all strangers. Personally, for me, maybe other people feel differently and they like the city, but for me, I really enjoy knowing people well. So I also like this idea of sharing more resources with each other. So like, for example, between all 50 of us, I think we have like 2 lawnmowers, a couple of weed whackers, and not everyone here owns a car. Some people share cars. Yeah, so I like that idea of just sharing more resources, being less consumerist. I'm pretty not into our American consumerist culture. And so, yeah, I was curious about what it might be like to share more resources. And that's great and everything, except the issue for me was that, okay, so like, for example, that lawnmower, one of the 2 lawnmowers is mine because I paid for it and I bought a nice one and it lasted a long time. I take care of it. And the other lawnmower is sort of community property, and it is usually broken. It gets left out in the rain. You know, things that are community property tend to just get really beat up, not taken care of. Then it's not necessarily anyone's particular responsibility. And so, you know, I just see that type of thing happening over and over again, where like I have the nice tools because I bought them, and the tools that the community has are all like broken and old and dull and jacked, and so then we have some funds, we buy some new community tools, and within a month they're all just like scattered around, lost, broken, whatever. One of the other challenges that I have is that so I mow the lawn here, and I've been mowing the lawn since I moved here because nobody else was doing it. And then once I knew I was going to leave, I let everybody know that I wouldn't be mowing the lawn anymore and somebody else would need to do it. And this is what the lawn looks like. It hasn't been mowed since I stopped mowing it about a month ago. You know, there's just like people have different priorities. People have different interests, different amounts of time available for stuff. And so it ended up really just feeling like I have to do everything. And certainly I'm not the only one who does anything, but it feels like the things that other people are doing are not contributing as much to the things that I care about. Like maybe they're having, you know, some circle discussion on something and that's really important to them, but that's not important to me. And meanwhile, I feel like everybody's sitting around while I'm the only one doing actual work. One thing is that I really like to work. Like I really like to get things done. I really like to improve things. I really like working on a team and having, you know, just going hard, working hard. I really like to work hard. And I have discovered that there are just different types of work ethics, and not everybody likes to work as much as I do. And that is really something that I kind of discovered here because, like in most of the jobs that I've had, there's sort of an expectation that you're going to work a certain amount. And people are, for the most part, working that amount. And anyone who's not working that amount is kind of looked down on. They're looked at as lazy or incompetent or just whatever. And here it's like that's not looked down on. That's just like, oh yeah, just like do whatever you want to do. And there's really just no expectations about how much somebody's going to do, or are you going to work or not work, and what things are of value to work on versus what's like, I don't know, why are you building a statue of a butt? I don't know, that's not a real thing. But